Hello friends, today we're going to be talking about what is paper flipping in real estate. I'm sure you've heard of bottle flipping, but have you ever heard of paper flipping in real estate? Okay, I realize that's a bad dad joke when it comes to paper flipping, but by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how paper flipping can generate consistent, significant income without ever owning a piece of property. It is a low-cost, high-reward strategy that can be a perfect entry point for any stage of real estate investing. Did you even realize that there are a lot of strategies in real estate where you can make pretty good money without ever even owning a piece of property? Have you ever wondered how some real estate investors flip contracts versus flipping properties or houses? Well, stick around as I break down exactly how paper flipping works by first explaining and helping you understand the process of flipping real estate. Next, I will help you understand what it means when we say paper in real estate and what it means to flip paper. And finally, I will walk you through step by step on how you flip paper in real estate. If you are ready, let's go. So let's first start off talking about paper or contracts when it comes to real estate investing. Now, I'll assume that most people that are watching this video understand and know what real estate contracts are. But for clarity purposes, just to make sure we're all on the same page, let's get a quick definition. A real estate contract is an agreement between two individuals, one who's selling the property, one who's buying the property, for that said piece of property. So you have the buyer that's willing to buy at a certain price, the seller that's willing to sell at a certain price, and that contracts make sure that all parties are on the same page. Now, when it comes to real estate contracts, there's obviously a lot more goes into it than just the price. But when we're talking about flipping contracts or flipping paper in real estate, price might be the most important thing or the only thing that you need to really understand. However, I'm a big believer in knowing and understanding what else is covered just so you're not caught with your pants down. So a real estate contract also covers the terms of finance, home inspection, fixtures and furnitures, closing date, or any other stipulations like the need to sell an existing home, and etc. And many of these points are going to be negotiated throughout the real estate agreement process, getting that finalized. But when it is all said and done and the real estate contract is signed, you've now set yourself up for the ability to then flip that contract to somebody else. However, if that is going to happen, you need to have this exact verbiage in that real estate contract. And every single time I do a real estate deal, I utilize this exact verbiage, which is Aaron Peterson and or assigns, or my LLC and or assigns. Basically what I'm saying is the person that is buying this property is me or my LLC, and I can assign this to somebody else, or I can completely assign this to somebody else, or add somebody else on the agreement with me. And a lot of times I might do a contract in my own name with and or assigns just for the ease of getting it done, because I do not own a piece of property that is in my own name, minus a second home that I own in Georgia. I will always assign a property that I close on or about to close on into an LLC. So I'll utilize and or assigns no matter what, even if I'm planning to keep the property myself, because I want to assign that property to my LLC, not to have in my name personally. So it seems pretty straightforward to this point, right? You're finding a piece of property, you get it under contract at a low price. But now let's talk about some of the very important elements if you are actually looking to flip paper. Number one, and this has to be the most important, is price. If you are going to get a property under contract where you can flip that paper or that contract, the only way to make that happen where it's beneficial for you and the person you're flipping it to has to be that this property under contract at a really good price, well below market value. Because understand, there's got to be enough meat on the bones for the person that you're signing that contract to or flipping that piece of paper to, where they can also make a profit. If not, you're going to have a very hard time assigning or flipping that paper to somebody else. Now, the second component, which is equally important as price, is being able to find a buyer for that property. A lot of people go into wholesaling or flipping contracts, flipping paper, where they say, I just got to find a property. They find a property, they get under contract, and now all of a sudden they're left saying, what do I do now? And because if you do not have an end buyer or a way to get it into a bunch of buyers' eyes, and it can be difficult, it requires some time for us to dive in and understand why this is so important and what you need to do to make this happen. So the first thing that I recommend to anybody that's getting involved in flipping paper is to build a buyer's list. Now, this buyer's list can be built over time and probably will be built over time, but anybody that you meet or know that is interested in investing or purchasing or buying or selling real estate will fit on that list. Because even if they're not buying themselves, they might know somebody who is. Number two, and this can be a great way to build that buyer's list, is to going and being a part of Facebook groups that are associated with real estate investing. I've done this and I have watched so many interactions to people online and been an observer to realize that this is a fantastic strategy. I will see people go on there that say, hey, I have this property under contract for this price. The entry fee to purchase this property is $15,000. So the purchase price, the contract price, is $210,000. But to get this property, it's $15,000. So to get it from me, you have to pay $15,000. Here's a few other things to note about the property. And you will see tons of comments on that post as long as the property is under contract at a good price. And that is another way to buy your buyer's list, because many people say, listen, I'm interested, send me more details, DM me or email me. I've even done it where I've DM'd the individual that's posted that property, said I'm interested, and they'll say, shoot me your email, I'm happy to give you the information. And guess what? A month later, 2 months later, I'm on that person's list if another property comes up. And because I'm interested in real estate and purchasing and owning real estate, and investing in real estate, I'm really not concerned that they're sending me potential properties when I didn't potentially opt in. And maybe I did opt in by saying, hey, send this to me. So Facebook is a fantastic way to find potential buyers once you get a property under contract and you're looking to flip that piece of paper. Now, a lot of people say, man, this strategy seems like it could be difficult, but I'm here to tell you it's not. Right? Matter of fact, the very first money that I made in real estate was done this way. And ironically, I was a newbie to real estate. So I was looking in an area in a city that was going to see some pretty substantial growth because the college that was in this city said they're going from a 2-year institution to a 4-year institution. So I started looking for real estate in that area. So I saw that person was selling some fourplexes. So I called, said, listen, I'm interested in buying some fourplexes. My partners and I in another business started doing well and we were looking to invest in real estate. So when I called this individual, said, how many fourplexes are you looking to buy? And I said, you know, maybe 4 to 6. Now he said, awesome, let's meet up. I want to meet you, find out more about your goals. What are you looking to accomplish? Because I'm a real estate developer and I might have other projects that will interest you guys. So I met and sat down with this group. And I said, listen, I'm looking to buy 4 to 6 of these. And they said, listen, if you are willing to buy 8 of these, we can get that price down from $275,000, which that'll probably tell you how long ago it was, down to $255,000. So I went back to my partners, said, listen, would we be interested in buying 8? I know we're thinking of 6. And they said yes. So we started that process. As I went up to that city, probably a couple weeks later, I sat down with the individual and said, listen, we're looking to do phase 2 on this project, and we need to sell 14 of these. Is there any way that you guys could purchase 14 of these? Now that was a big investment, but they said they'd go from $255,000 down to $245,000. And so without even checking, I said, yes, let's do it. And when I went back to my partners, they said, listen, that kind of scares us a little bit. We have enough to do 8, but I don't know if we have enough to do 14. That's 6 more fourplexes. So I went back to the people and they said, listen, we'd love to give you 8. We might be able to do that, but we really need to move 14. So maybe there's a group that we can look for that could buy all 14. If we can't, then we might have to do it this way. Well, at the same time, I had an individual who came up to me and said, listen, I hear you're buying some property and real estate up in this city up there. I'm interested. What do you got? And so I said, listen, I've got 6 fourplexes that are normally $275,000. If you or a group of individuals are willing to buy those 6, I can get those to you for $255,000 that I have under contract. This gentleman came back and said, yes, I'll do that. So it was an absolute win-win where my partners and I were able to purchase 8 of these fourplexes. I was able to assign 6 of those fourplexes that I had under contract for $245,000 to this individual for $255,000. So I had made, just in that transaction, roughly $60,000. Now, it might have been a little bit more or less. It was so long ago, but I remember making north of $40,000 on this contract assignment or flipping this piece of property. And it was one of my first preludes into real estate. And I thought, man, what a great strategy, and one that I've looked to engage in ever since in my 20 years of real estate investing. Now, these are some things that I've seen when it comes to flipping paper in real estate, but I'd be interested in your feedback. What successes have you seen? What challenges? Go ahead and comment below. Let's engage in a dialogue. And as always, just for stopping by, I've got a free gift for you. It is a short-term rental calculator. You put in the price of the home, the income, the expenses. It will spit out to you whether it is a good deal or not. And it's completely free, no obligation. Just click on the link below, aaronsfreetraining.com. And once again, thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.